So, my apologies, anyone viewing this, even whether now or later. Yesterday we had a lot of good luck with the technology of being really pretty smooth, and it was tempting fate, I suppose. And so, hopefully, after that hard reboot I just did, involuntarily, hopefully that will resolve some of the issues. So right now, because we had a little bit of a break, I think everybody's kind of doing the necessities, and we'll get everyone back, and we'll continue the story of Tomb of Annihilation and the discussion that everyone's having now with Saja Nbaza, the guardian Naga of Oralunga. How are you guys doing?
I'm back. I'm here.
Good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's been pretty fun just sitting around and chatting.
Well, good. So, again, my apologies to people watching, but I hopefully we'll be back on here. I'm going to try to not abuse the number of things I have open. But I'm also, I can't help but think that a lot of something was a little fishy, because I had less open today than I did yesterday, and and I've never seen errors like that before. So maybe Windows was trying to do something behind the scenes.
It might have been.
Yeah. So as soon as we have everybody back, we'll continue. I'll kind of probably recap just a little bit of what I said before we dropped out, just to make sure everybody is on the same page. Let me try bringing okay, let me bring up the map to, oh, you know what, such a weird thing here. Okay, so we're getting there, and let's see, I can make the layout of this. We're gonna fix this, guys. All right. Okay, so on this map, the description, the place that what the Naga said is that this city lay between the Valley of Lost Honor, which is on your map right here, and the Peaks of Flame, which is right here. All right, so that would suggest somewhere around right there is where this city is.
Okay.
So right about where the ship crash was.
The ship crash is like here.
Oh, okay.
So just to for scale, you guys are right here right now. The Lost City would be right here. Ship crash is like in between.
Okay.
All right. So a lot of days in advance now. Quite a bit of travel.
Unless you find some faster way. Not saying there necessarily is one. I'm just saying that
We need someone to tame some pterodactyls.
I think that's a Scott job.
Definitely a Scott job.
I said done just in time. What about taming pterodactyls?
We decided that was a job for Scott.
Sounds like it.
so. With everybody back, just what she had described based on your map. She had said this forbidden city known as Omu lies between the Valley of Lost Honor and the Peaks of Flame. So you have both of those on your map already, so suggesting that it's about right there. But you guys also know that's a ways south from where you are right now. You guys are all the way up here.
Ooh.
At Oralunga. So that's a ways to go, but at the same time, you have a destination now. You had no idea before. So,
Would it be easier to go out to the coast and take a ship?
That's what I was thinking.
Actually, that's what I was thinking too, is to head back to Port Naru and check in and get a ship and sail around the peninsula.
They
Now, I
had
heard there's
significant docks, so that you suspect that would be something that would be possible.
I have heard there's a dragon turtle, I think, in the Bay of Chout. That might be dangerous, but I'm sure we can handle that.
Also, pirate.
Pirates, yes.
Yeah. Pirates. Yeah, that's also a thing. Yeah, so
we can handle pirates.
Not undead, actually. Terrible.
So you guys are still having this conversation up there with the Naga, and Artist Simber is overhearing some of this, and he just says, "I don't mean to presume. I certainly would not travel where I'm not invited. However, my quest is to see the city of Mesro returned to its former state, and as Saja Nbaza says, I must kill Raz Nasi to see that happen. And so if your goals and mine align, I would travel with you."
And it sounds like they do.
What is the city of Mesro to you? Is it your city?
He gets kind of a faraway, sad look for a little while, and he says, My wife lived there, and I thought she had been killed with Raz Nasi's original attack. But now I learn that the city has instead just magically been shifted to another plane. I would like to see it returned, and I hope to be reunited with my wife.
May it be so, in the name of God.
I'm thinking to myself, that seems a little... Can I see if he's lying?
Make an insight check.
Insight. 20.
He seems very sincere.
Okay.
We'll aid you on your quest as you aid us on ours.
He says, "Thank you. And I overheard a moment ago your suggestion of finding a ship. I think that may, in fact, be a good plan. If you intend to return to Port Nyanzaru, that would take some time. However, a faster but perhaps riskier approach. I have good information that the pirates that have been plaguing these waters make their hidden base in Jahaka Bay, which is much closer than Port Nyanzaru."
Are you suggesting that we take a ship of theirs, or that we charter them?
Either might be an option. I suspect that they would not be very friendly to offers of chartering. If we were to steal a ship, it would certainly be fair to steal from pirates, I think. But could be dangerous.
We know how to sail.
Anybody? I don't.
It's just a big mount. It's okay. We can just ride it.
I just mention it for information. If you believe that traveling back to Port Nyanzaru is the better plan, I am willing to do so.
And I can see it, the great ship Scott. But,
Well, artist, can you sail?
I have some ability, yes. I suspect, though, that many of the pirate crews are Shanghaied, conscripted. They may be pleased to be freed from their pirate captains, and in fact, I have no doubt that they would be more than willing to help us sail to our destination if the promise is that the ship will belong to them afterwards.
I'm in.
We
That's
should
good enough
think
for
about
me.
that.
Seems like a sound plan.
Yeah.
If they're conscripted, we should save them anyway.
Loquacia will turn back to our guardian snake friend.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any further advice for us? Any other counsel?
Sorry, I should not be eating while we're having NPC conversations.
Sorry.
No, that's my fault. What she says is, You have chosen a difficult task, but one that improves the world. You will each carry a blessing from me on your journey. May it do you well. And
That's most gracious.
she sort of lowers her head to kind of touch her forehead to each of you in turn. And as she does, let me pull up this. So she is going to give you, the mechanic we're using here is she's giving each of you a charm.
Ooh.
And so you guys are going to feel this moment of telepathy as she touches you. And you know that you are going to be able to each choose one of the following options that I will read to you. There's a charm of animal conjuring, which will allow you to cast the conjure animals spell 3 times. Charm of dark vision.
Per day?
3 times at all, total.
Ah.
And then the charm will fade. But no spell slot needed. Charm of dark vision, which will allow you to cast the dark vision spell 3 times. The charm of feather falling, which gives you the benefits of a ring of feather falling, which basically is like permanent feather fall, except that it only lasts for 10 days. Charm of heroism, which allows you to once give yourself the benefit of a potion of heroism, which gives you temporary hit points that refresh every round. And then you can do that 1 time, and it will last 1 hour when you do it. And Charm of Restoration, which gives you 6 charges, and for those charges you can cast Greater Restoration with 4 charges, or Lesser Restoration with 2 charges. So, for example, you could do 1 Greater Restoration and 1 Lesser Restoration, or 3 Lesser. Charm of the Slayer.
What?
So there's 2 more. Charm of the Slayer.
Specifically.
I couldn't hear you because you were talking while I was trying to talk.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. I meant that's why I couldn't hear you.
The charm of restoration does what specifically?
Okay.
Better get through the other 2.
Yeah. Okay. What it does is it gives you 6 charges. You can use 4 charges to cast Greater Restoration, or 2 charges to cast Lesser Restoration.
Okay, what is restoration?
It's a spell. It heals conditions.
I'll send the spell details on the chat in a second. So
Yeah. So I mean, you can look some of these up on the site or whatever. I mean, you're not necessarily going to know all of them. I'm just saying, so Charm of the Slayer makes your sword, a sword in your position, become for 9 days a Dragon Slayer sword, which essentially makes it a +1 magic sword and extra damage against dragons if you fight any, and that lasts for 9 days. And then a Charm of Vitality, which gives you the benefit of a Potion of Vitality once. And so you can each choose one of those.
Oh, okay.
What does the potion of vitality do again?
Potion of Vitality, it removes any exhaustion you might have, cures any disease or poison affecting you. For the next 24 hours, you regain the maximum number of hit points for any hit die you spend.
That's cool. I probably want Featherfall. I have a dex modifier of -1. It seems like it'll.
Alright. So, if you find the Ring of Feather Falling in D&D Beyond, that's probably the simplest, or just make it as a note that for the next 10 days you have permanent feather fall, essentially. It's probably the simplest way. Alright. How about you, Scott? Which would you like?
I'm trying to look at restoration real fast.
Okay, lesser restoration does things like blind, deaf, paralyzed, or poisoned. It just ends the condition. Greater
Okay.
restoration is just like better than that. It can end curses. It can restore people who have been petrified or charmed. Anything that reduces a person's hit point maximum, that sort of thing.
I think I'm going to take the charm of heroism.
Okay.
What does that one do?
So, Potion of Heroism is an item that you can look up to see what it does. And so, essentially, it's like you have one Potion of Heroism that you can take whenever you want. All right.
Now, with the Slayer charm, does that +1 for a sword only apply to one sword? Because I dual wield.
It only applies to one sword. But it's a +1 to both attacks and damage rolls with it. And if you were to attack a dragon with it, you would do an extra 3d6 damage.
Okay, I think I'll take that.
All right.
Yeah.
Kathuki?
I think I'm gonna take heroism.
All right. So you can also kind of give yourself a potion of heroism in the inventory, and that's probably the simplest way to mark it down. All right. Aloysius, I believe you're muted, but yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I'm also going to take the Featherfall. I have a question because I was reading. Does the charm affect the same as the spell? So other creatures within range, or just me?
Just you.
Okay. Now, since I'm so light, could I grab somebody else who's lightweight and take them? One up to them?
You might fall marginally slower, but generally no.
I think, doesn't Featherfall just sort of, not so much reduce your speed as reduce the fact that you are impacting the ground?
You're still falling 60 feet per round, but you take no damage from falling. All right. To Yoris?
Choice. I think I'll take the heroism.
Okay.
That
And
was one use within, and it didn't have an expiry time.
right, yeah. So in some ways, the ones that don't have an expiration are probably, tactically better. But you know what? I will say, any of the ones that last for a certain duration, it doesn't have to start now. You can start it when you want to.
Cool. Sounds good.
Saja and Baza's cool like that.
Kind of like Disney tickets. It doesn't start until you use it the first time.
Right, yeah.
Perfect.
This was a Disney ride,
Right.
wouldn't it be wild?
Okay, so I think Loquacia took the Featherfall one, I think, and Arahorn, did we get one? Did you pick yours?
I'm going to take Featherfall as well. That's okay?
All right. As you each choose the charm, the Naga, you feel this warm, tingling, pleasant magic feeling kind of wash over you as this Naga touches each of you with its forehead, and then pulls away and just says, "The spirits are with you. There is information I can tell you." Oh, this is not my voice. I'm talking more like this because I'm a snake person.
And we almost had our first spit take.
So what she says is, "This information is not necessarily but I can tell you the history of the city of Omu. It was once the capital of all Chalton civilization, and it was devoted to the worship of the god Ubtao. However, the Chaltons at that time were a very warlike people. They committed sacrifices. They raided the nearby villages. They killed many, and the jungles turned red with blood. This displeased Ubtao, and Ubtao turned his back on the Chaltons, leaving the Chalton clerics without their power. The leaders of Omu did not take kindly to the loss of their powers, and they turned instead to 9 trickster spirits, which emerged from the jungle claiming to be deities. The city became a place of worship of these 9 spirits. And if you'll give me a moment, I will tell you the legend of those spirits.
Need to find a book. Be right back.
Yes. I've consulted my memory. You may wish to take notes. This will come up later. There will be a quiz.
Oh, excellent quiz. I do love quizzes.
This is
It's
the
right
legend
behind you.
of the 9 trickster spirits which took Ubtao's place when Omu was abandoned. Long ago, the god Ubtao hardened his heart and vowed to weep for the people of Omu no longer. The rains stopped, the jungle withered and died, and death swept through Omu. One morning, a wise Zorbo, which is an animal, all of these things are animals, a wise Zorbo emerged from her hollow tree and spoke to the dying Omuans. To convince Ubtao of their worth, she decided to cook him a stew made from all their good qualities. Catching such virtues wouldn't be easy, so she asked a wily Almirage to help her. The Almirage snuck recklessness into the pot, which she saw as a virtue, and Ubtao spat out the stew when he tasted it. From that day on, Obolakur, the Zorbo, and Ijin, the Almirage, became terrible enemies.
Okay.
At noon, a brave Kamadan hopped down from her rock. She saw the evil in the Omuans' hearts and decided to lance it like a troublesome boil. The Kamadan fashioned a holy spear, but she left it by the riverbank, and a crafty Grung stole it. In her rage, Shagambi the Kamadan forgot all about the Omuans and chased Nang Nang the Grung forever across the sky. Excuse me, this is thirsty work storytelling.
Don't I know it?
When evening came, a wily Ebli stepped from his reed hut. He didn't like the Omuans, but without them, he'd have no one to play his tricks on. The Ebli sent a marsh frog to reason with Ubtao, but the frog was angry and decided to wrestle the god instead. This amused Ubtao, so he gave the frog tentacles to make it stronger. When Kubuzan, the froghemoth, returned to Papazotl, the Ebli, he chased Papazotl into the swamp with his new tentacles. That night, a Sioux monster broke into Ubtao's palace and stole a pail of water for the Ohm ones. When the god came running to find it, the Sioux monster hid the pail in a Jaculi's burrow. Ubtao asked the jungle animals where his water was hidden, and Moa, the Jaculi, was too honest to lie. When Wongo, the Sioux monster, found out how Moa had betrayed him, he vowed to catch the Jaculi and eat him up. All the while, Unk, the flail snail, lived deep under the earth. The noise of the other animals fighting made her slither up to the surface, and when day dawned over her shell, the light blinded Ubtao and made his eyes water. Life returned to Omu, and the people built shrines to honor the animals who had saved them. This is the legend of the 9 gods of Omu.
Fascinating.
I did not get all of those names.
Can I get a charm of tentacles? I hear they make you.
She says, they do, but I'm afraid that is not one of the charms I have to offer.
I understand.
Okay,
If I was a frog, I could.
what was the name of the Zorbo again?
Obulaka, the Zorbo.
And she trusted the Almirage.
More the Ijin?
Who's the Almirage?
Put reckless
Durham?
too.
Yes, but what was the name of the Almirage?
Irmo?
Ijin.
Ijin?
Yes.
Balaku, Ijin, Kamadan, Shalabi, Ebli, Kabazon, Mua, and Unk. That's what I have.
Edley is a type of creature, not the name of the Edley. What is the name of the Edley?
Papa's
Papazodal.
Papa's.
Your guide Azaka can tell you the nature of any of these creatures that you are unfamiliar with.
Yes. Good.
I hope so.
All right. What was the name of the Kamadan?
Shagambi.
And let's see. And all right, Nang the Grung.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shoot! What was the name of the marsh frog?
Kabazon. Kubazon.
Kubazon.
Frog behemoth.
As a ranger, do any of these animal names make sense to me?
Some of them do, and like for example, a Jaculi is the type of snake that attacked the party early on in their expedition. It's a type of large snake that springs out of trees.
Ah.
These are all animals that live in the jungles. You haven't encountered all of them.
What was the Sioux monster's name?
Wongo.
Yes.
All right, and then Moa was Jakuli's name.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got all of these names.
You're good listeners, all of you.
Thank you.
I heard there'd be a test, so I naturally took notes.
A bit of metagaming. I'm not sure if you guys will actually get far enough for that stuff to really be important, but I like the flavor of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any other questions, I am happy to answer. But you must depart soon. There is little time.
Do you know a Nanny Poo Poo?
she is a green hag inhabiting the ruins of Mbala.
Ah, that would explain the ability to put away a gallon of wine.
Claims to be able to bring people back to life, despite this death curse going on.
That's not at all what... She claimed that she could return the senses to a body.
I am not familiar with what ritual she may have, but as with all hags, it will be a dark ritual with a heavy price.
Sort of what we expected.
I think that we should, unless there's anything else that you can recommend to us that would be of use on our quest, I suspect that we should get moving. Yes?
I will leave you only now with one more piece of advice, which is that Artus and his companion are trustworthy.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
We appreciate-
Artus and Dragonbait both kind of bow to her as well.
Perhaps in better days, I wouldn't mind returning and speaking to you more. Your ancient knowledge and wisdom would be tremendously interesting. But the quest calls.
I do not grant a second audience without an invitation. If the circumstances warrant it, you will receive one.
May I be worthy of a second invitation. It is a tragedy to leave you then, but I'm afraid needs must.
Loquacia bows deeply. Thank you for your knowledge, your recommendations, your wisdom, and most especially the directions you have given us. We will do our best to keep them well.
May the information serve you well. Dendar the Night Serpent must be prevented from returning. And the death curse must be ended. The two goals, I believe, are parallel, but circumstantially related.
I'm certainly against any dark gods rising. I like this world. I don't want to see it eaten.
But I've kept all my stuff.
Yeah. I live in it. I kind of like it.
Alright, so are you guys leaving then?
Yes. We'll welcome our two new companions into our ranks.
Yes, so welcome Dragonbait and this guy, Artis Simber. Which, because I don't know if I don't know if she would have necessarily shared it, but when Ash and Dawn went to go talk to Grandfather Zitembe in the Temple of Savras back in Port Nyanzaru, when she first arrived, he was telling a group of shady-looking characters that he would not help them find Artis Simber.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've got that in my notes somewhere.
But I did not overhear this, so as far as I am aware, it is only in Ash and Dawn's head.
Parenthetical in my notes.
All right.
Arcus, have you been traveling with Dragonbait for long?
He says, not so long, only a few years since we have made our connection. I traveled a much lonelier path for a long time before that.
Well, and forgive me, Dragonbait, I'm not needing to speak out about you without you in the conversation, but I'm just wondering if there's a way to communicate with you. Interpreting your fragrance is interesting, but
Yeah,
perhaps
just a
a little
sec. I have to
slower.
pull up the some of the NPC stuff for him because it's unusual.
Can you write?
He
Can you write? Or
he
do you have
listens to
any
you
other language?
and just shakes his head. And then he
Shakes.
he smells like Sorry, I'm gonna scroll down to where He smells like roses. He looks a little bit sad. An artist just says, he is a valuable ally to have, despite some initial difficulties you may have understanding him.
Can you tell us a bit about what you can do? We've got a rather eclectic group here.
Well, I suppose it's all right to tell you this. This is normally something I keep secret, but if you have been vouched for by Sergeant Mbaza, I trust her judgment implicitly. I am a skilled fighter on my own, but my primary offering is this. And he takes off his glove, and you see a ring that he is wearing. And it actually, the ring looks like it's got kind of frost all over it. And his hand around where he's wearing it, is the skin looks kind of pale and blue, like it's frozen, but he's able to move his hand. He says, "This is the Ring of Winter. It is an extraordinarily powerful and very dangerous artifact. For most, it would dominate their will and use them to do evil. I have managed to tame it. It is extraordinarily powerful, but for this reason there are many who would seek to take it from me, and I am always on the move."
See, is your hand all right?
It is fine, it is only visual. The ring itself actually makes me invulnerable to cold and slows my aging.
It
How
slows
long-
your aging.
Separated from your wife.
It's been 100 years.
Wow.
It
Children?
was Rosnasi's... No children. Rosnasi's assault on Mesro occurred during the Spell Plague, and that is when I thought the city destroyed, but I have since now learned it is only magically shifted.
Well,
Perhaps it is also out of time.
I don't know. I would hope so, for the pain of being without my wife has been a burden. I would spare her that if possible.
It'll make it grant. Oh look, there's Azaka.
Yep. So as you guys are descending, all of the things that made it difficult to get up are just like everything's just like normal stairs. There's no difficulty at all getting back down. And Azaka approaches and she's looking at you and just says, "She met with you then?"
Yes.
oh yes.
Good.
We were blessed.
She's impressive,
Literally.
isn't she?
She spoke well of you as well.
Some really weird stuff to get there.
She looks prouder when you said that she spoke well of Azaka. She looks prouder than like you've ever seen her.
Good.
So we've got two more companions. This is Dragonbait, and I've already lost the other guy's name.
Artis.
And Dragonbait and Artis. And it turns out that they're going in the same direction we are. So it looks like the Guardian believes that the curse lies in this forgotten city that used to be the capital of Chult. And it's now full of Yanti.
You want tea?
Is it? Yeah.
They are dangerous to deal with. But
apparently
saw
there's
many things in the jungle. Did she say
Well,
where the city was?
um, uh, Loquacia gestures for the map.
Yeah.
Yes.
Between the
Roughly.
pirates and what else?
Yeah.
Between the Valley of Lost Honor and the Peaks of Flame.
That's it.
Vast area on our map which is unexplored, but it's indicated you'd have a good idea of us being able to get there. Also, Artis thinks that we might be able to hijack his ship, steal from pirates. Not terribly exciting.
And she kind of looks at Artis, just kind of like, boy, I just met you. I didn't. This like, okay, pirates, huh? That sort of
Artis has his own reasons for going to the area. Return to his wife.
There's also apparently some sort of former red wizard who's attempting to resurrect a what was it? The dark serpent god who wants to eat the world.
The Night
Dendar,
Serpent.
the night serpent, Artis.
Yeah.
Another Tuesday in the Forgotten Realms.
So we'll say that you guys you compare notes, and she can tell you that the different animals mentioned, because some of them you hadn't encountered yet.
Right.
A Zorbo is kind of like a mean carnivorous koala.
Ah!
Yeah.
Drop there.
Yeah. And Almirage. Yeah, it is kind of. And Almirage is like a rabbit unicorn. It's like a rabbit, but it has like a unicorn horn on it.
Aw.
Yeah, cute.
Jackalope?
A Commodon is like a leopard, but it has snakes growing out of its shoulders.
Snake.
Well, that's not freaky at all.
Yeah, it's a little weird, right?
Not even a little.
It's not a displacer
Yeah.
beast.
It's superficially similar. Some parallel evolution there to displacer beast. A grung is like a humanoid frog person, where the frog is kind of like the jungle poisonous dart frogs.
I had the pleasure of playing in an all grung campaign at last
Nice.
week's convention. It was hilarious.
Fun.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And Ebly is like a crane, but they're tall. They're like an 8-foot tall crane.
Cool.
They're actually intelligent and generally evil.
Oh.
A froghemoth is sort of a just like monstrous frog behemoth thing with tentacles, which sounds right from the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
A Sioux monster is like a psychic monkey.
Aren't they also often evil?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All of these things are like terrifying and evil and awful.
A lot of them, yeah. The Chukuli, as you have encountered, a large snake that likes to spring out of trees and camouflage itself. And a flail snail is a great big snail with a shell that has kind of all sorts of bright, scintillating colors and spell reflection qualities.
Also, really evil. The flail snails are substantially evil and must be killed at all costs. That may be the players.
But do they taste
I
good?
sense a
They're
little
coming right
personal.
at us. Yeah. So you guys then are, you kind of return to your camp, sort of nearby the ziggurat of Oralunga. As I mentioned, you are basically right here on the map.
Okay.
So it is you guys can kind of make your plans for what's the next step. Are you definitely planning to go down to Jahaka Bay, which is right here? So from here, you are actually close to where the River Tath goes up there. So because you still have a canoe, or did you?
We still have a canoe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can travel the down the river through Ataz Kahakla here to the bay, and Artist says he believes that that's where the pirates are operating out of. Is that the
I
plan
like
then?
that plan.
And that's
Yeah.
much faster than trying to go overland. Is that what we decided?
Well, I mean, you guys came more or less straight to where you are, so the amount of time you've been traveling is probably about that much time to go back.
Oh, sorry, not going back. I mean, going to the other place directly.
Oh,
rather
yeah. Probably it's faster to take the river if you have the canoes to carry everybody. But I think you have one. I don't think you've been carrying 2 canoes.
No, we lost
Well,
the
we lost the second canoe with the rowboats we had. Yeah.
Yeah. So the advantage of following the river is that you won't get lost.
Mm-hmm.
You might get lost in the jungle otherwise, but up to you.
What does Azaka recommend?
She says it's probably, since we don't have canoes enough for everybody, it will be faster if we don't get lost to go overland.
Could we perhaps make a raft or something?
If you guys want to spend some time doing that, we could try it.
If it would save time to go by river, and we did seem to run into fewer things when we were on the river, and we'd be less likely to get lost, then that seems like a better idea. But my idea of making a raft involves simply wrapping ropes around sticks and hoping it floats. So I think that we should definitely figure out if we can make a raft that will float before we even try such.
So the way I'll do this is that I'm going to have one of you make an intelligence check to design the raft.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have 3 of you make an investigation check to try to find good wood for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 of you make a dexterity check to assemble it to the design. And so based on the results of all of that, we'll see how good your raft is.
I mean, my hand is delicate and used to writing, so I'm not going to be building anything.
I can handle the putting together part.
Oh yeah, I
Help with
definitely.
that.
I can help with building.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing part I can help with.
All right, so who wants to do the design with an intelligence roll?
Yeah, how is your intelligence?
I mean, I'm quite
Got a
smart.
15.
I have a 16. I have a 16.
Okay, you have a 16. All right.
That's metagaming me a little bit to say the numbers, but I'll
Yeah.
let it go back.
I'm quite smart.
By role playing alone, I did assume that he would have the most
Yeah.
intelligence.
That makes sense.
I'm probably the smartest, yes.
All right.
But a little of your guidance might help, Laquasia.
She was already reaching for you.
Aha. All right. So go ahead and make your design check, intelligence with your guidance.
All right then. Might have to throw this whole thing in here. That is 23.
All right. Okay. Now, who's going and looking for materials?
I'll look. And I got an extra 20.
Okay, great. So I'll say you can do investigation or perception, whichever you prefer.
I'll go investigation.
All right. So what's the total then for the roll?
22.
22.
I'll go looking too.
All right.
Oh, I'll also go looking. Because we needed 3, right?
Yeah, but
and
I'm thinking the 3 that go looking, and then the 3 that will build.
Yeah.
We're giving everyone something to do.
Yes. I'll go looking, and I'll cast guidance on the other person who is also looking.
All right.
So that's a D4 added to the roll.
Mm-hmm.
23.
All right. All right.
15 total.
15. All right. And now assembly. Our remaining 3 should make a dexterity check.
I'll
19?
cast guidance on one of you as well.
A 17.
22.
19.
All right. So I'll say it takes you the better part of the day, all told. But by the end, you have a pretty sturdy raft that you can lash to your canoe, and you can sort of paddle along or tow it from the canoe. It's not too heavy, and you tested it in the water, and it will hold 5 of you. Which is perfect because the original canoe holds 5 people, and you are now 10 with Artis, Simber, and Dragonbait, and Zaka. And then
I mean, Scott and Al are a little smaller, but
yeah. Well, I think technically Wordra is still there hanging out too.
Yeah.
He doesn't say
Oh,
much.
yeah.
He kind of hides behind
Oh,
Zaka's leg most of the time.
and Quilda, I suppose, as well.
Yeah. So we'll say you can carry everybody now.
Cool.
So well done, you guys. You built a raft that will allow you to travel by a river.
Time to rest.
All right.
Now we just have to carry it to get to the river.
You're not too far. You guys waited until you were near the river to start building.
Okay.
All right. So let's start figuring out your travel as you make your way south along the river Tath.
So were we traveling that day, or are we...
Well,
Are we able
so
to?
I guess that's the question, is that it takes you most of the day to build the raft. You can travel like another few hours if you want and go like 1 hex.
I think so. Yeah. Take as much time as we can.
I agree.
We did try it out, after all.
Yeah, intermittent rain and it looks like random encounter time.
Not a zombie T-Rex.
Not fake, not fake.
We
Not
can't fit it on the raft.
Not a T-Rex. Not a T-Rex.
But
not
we could walk down the river.
Let's see. Okay, sorry, I had a table for this that I'm not opening up because I'm trying to not open up too many things here. But let's see, you guys are traveling by river, which means that this roll is let's see what that is.
No, not again. It was damn
Uh-oh.
snake.
Alright, let's see. As you guys are passing along the river, you spot on the coast of the river, on the side, what looks like a party of 10 tribal warriors dressed in like sort of primitive Chultan garb, and they appear to be butchering some slaughtered undead. And as they look up to watch you, you guys see that they all have this strange blue triangle on their foreheads, but these ones they're alive. And as they see you approaching, they ready. Take it back. They're busy with what they're doing. So if you guys don't do anything, you may be able to get mostly by them before they notice you in the water. And so up to you how you want to handle it.
Loquacia like makes gestures at everyone to.
Let's have everyone make a stealth check.
Oh dear.
Okay. Quietly cast guidance on myself.
For new one.
17.
8.
6.
8. All right.
11.
6.
You guys,
Okay. 13.
most of you, I think, did well enough that they don't notice you. And you guys are sort of past them along the river before you start hearing some shouting, and a couple of arrows plunk into the water behind you, but you are already out of range as you paddle by them.
Good luck.
They don't seem to pursue you any further.
Hope you beat the zombies. Yeah.
I looked up over the canoe. Is it safe?
You just keep using that word. It's not
Zaka
really
says,
applicable to
no,
its entire
it's not
island.
safe. It's never safe. You don't have to keep asking. It's always not safe.
Yes, I think she's right.
Um,
Immediate visible threat is behind us now.
Oh, good. All right.
are you making camp that night?
I think we had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah.
It's a dry night. There's all the clouds have kind of blown by, and so it's a very dark night. There's no moon tonight, so there's just stars forever. It's just really clear and kind of very quiet night.
I'm going to send Quilda up into a tree to keep watch.
Watch Panther.
Yes.
All right. In the morning, another torrential storm comes down. The rain. It would definitely swamp your raft and your canoe if you're trying to sail the river today.
Yeah. I think we need to stay put.
Maybe we could forage a little bit. See if we find some more of those bugs or those things that we found before. Those herbs you collected from the market.
Yeah.
At least make some use of part of the day.
All right. You can all make perception or nature checks if you prefer to look for interesting foraging.
25.
I'm just gonna keep guard.
19.
19.
14.
So everyone that rolled above. Oops. Hang on. Everyone who rolled above a 15, roll a percentile dice.
Twenty-six.
1.
28.
All right. Let's see. Okay. Katuki, you find a waka nut tree. And those are those nuts that are kind of fist-sized, and you shake them, and they give off light.
Shake the whole
Okay.
tree.
Cool.
No, I'm gonna shake the whole tree.
And then who else had above 15?
I did.
17.
Okay. You found a couple of yachas, which are the beetles that cure mad monkey fever. You find a couple of those.
Awesome.
I'll hand those over to LaQuisha. I think holding on to those. Actually, wait. Given the number of rapid accidents we've had on the way, maybe I'll hold on to this pair.
That's fair.
And then
Also, I'm holding on to more giant beetles.
and then I'm forgetting your name. Elmarin Erevan. You what did you roll?
Erevan.
Yeah. What was your percentile roll?
24.
Okay, you found you actually, when you were looking for plants and stuff, you actually tripped over the bones of an unarmored humanoid that had been lashed to a tree by vines. Someone had tied it to this tree, and it has since been skelefied. But the vines that lashed it are not, like rotten. So something ate the flesh off of this thing while it left the vines intact.
Oh.
Yay! I'm gonna go back and tell these guys about what I just found.
And I'll
lead on it.
Azaka says that would be the Batiri goblins. We'll do that as a punishment sometimes. They will lash their foes naked to a tree, cover them in honey, and the insects devour them.
Oh.
Let's not tick them off.
Cruel.
Zaki, was it?
Very cruel.
Azaka said that.
No,
The
what
Batiri
kind of-
goblins said they're not so dangerous as individuals, but they gang up on you. They actually stack. They stand on one another's shoulders, and they have wooden masks. And they stack as though they're just a tall creature with many faces.
It's a good
Sure.
tactic.
That's what I thought.
Okay. And I'll give Loquacia a small bag of the nuts because I know she likes light.
Oh, thank you. Oh, this is wonderful. If we have a dark place, I can shake one of these and then throw it.
Yeah.
It's ahead of us.
So, you guys, the day passes. The storm, you know, you got very wet out there searching the jungle during the storm, but you found some stuff. And so, as the storm blows over, as it gets to be nighttime.
Did I find anything?
Oh, I'm sorry,
28?
I didn't. What was your percentile roll?
28.
28. You found a cinderleaf plant. So you are able to collect. You were able to collect. Was that the one I said was in ounces? I don't have it here. Let's see.
It was in ounces.
Yeah, you are able to collect 7 ounces of cinderberries. No, so 7 berries
Oh, okay.
for the cinderberries. The manga leaves are in ounces.
Okay. The berries have to be prepared as tea in order to work.
Those are actually the manga leaves are the ones that have to be put into tea. Cinderberries, you just eat them.
Okay.
But
cool.
if you eat 10 cinderberries, you get advantages on saving throws against disease and poison.
Right. Okay.
Actually, not.
Good.
You get. Actually, you found 11 cinderberries. 46.
Sweet.
Not 2d6. Yeah. All right. So, are you traveling overnight?
If it clears up, then we should definitely make some.
Yeah, you're getting just light rain overnight.
Agreed. Then
Yeah.
And guess who gets another random encounter? Already.
Not us.
Nope,
Rest.
you're wrong. It is you. And then you're still on the river. So it okay. All right. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Does anyone have a passive perception higher than 15?
Let me
Yes.
check.
16.
You spot ahead of the canoes and the raft that what first looked like just a floating log has eyes.
Oh, yeah.
There's a creature up
It's
ahead.
a giant crocodile.
There's a giant crocodile up ahead. Look alive.
Perhaps we should pull over and carry our things around the crocodile. Looks at Azaka.
And she says, unless you'd rather fight it, there's lots of good meat on one of those.
Might be able to carry it across the river, get a blessing. Probably not.
I think I would rather just circle it unless you think we're running low on food.
No,
Okay.
as you like.
All right. So Quisha encourages the party to pull over, carry our gear around the crocodile,
Yep.
Ah.
You
and
do
get back
that.
on the river.
we allow the crocodile right away.
He was here first.
So you have denied that crocodile a meal.
But crocodile.
All right, so it is.
Determined not to kill the crocodile, so he should be grateful and take it.
All right.
I mean, the bookbinding with crocodile skin is probably wonderful. Right?
So the next day is not so rainy, but because you were out foraging the previous day and then traveled by night, if you keep traveling, you'll gain a level of exhaustion.
Break time.
Break time.
All right. So you guys make camp and you rest during the day today. And then that night, Another torrential storm just unloading on you.
Funny.
This is
Do
very.
the tents keep off some of the rain?
Well, once you're in the tent, you know you're protected from it, but you're just immediately soaked the instant you leave the tent. And so it's kind of like it's hard to be completely dry because you know there's no way you're gonna have a fire, and it's kind of hot anyway. You know, even with the rain, it cools it off a little bit, but so you kind of spend a lot of the night damp because there's no way to get completely dry.
I spend a considerable amount of time in the tent writing, but then packing it away carefully in its oilskin.
All right.
Use prestidigitation to dry it out as much as I can.
All right. Only light rain the next day. You back to daytime travel, I would imagine.
Yep.
Yes.
Continuing to make your way down the river. So you guys are now. Let's see. You are now back on your map. You're right here.
I've been filling in the map as well as we go along.
I definitely missed the red stripe.
The rain all kind of blows away, and so you have a night here where it is it's very calm and no rain tonight. All right.
What do we know of Ataz Kahakwa?
Azaka says that is the canyon I spoke of. It is layered. Layered in many different colors with fossils and coral. It's quite beautiful. We will not pass all the way through it tonight. In the morning you will see it's quite lovely.
Fascinating.
So let me get the I'll get the actual description of it. But so if you travel again overnight, uneventful. In the morning, as the sun dawns, it is. Azaka points out that the name technically means Gorge of Death, but it sounds more ominous than it really is, because what it means is that it's the death of all of these different sea creatures that are died and now fossilized. So the cliff walls, which vary from 50 to 200 feet high, are lined with row upon row of coral. It's all dead but retains its rainbow colors, making the canyon into a breathtaking pseudo-underwater seascape. Mixed in among the corals are intact skeletons of plesiosaurs, giant sharks, and other sea creatures.
Why are they all here? What caused such a dense death?
I don't know. This was perhaps underwater at once upon a time.
Maybe they didn't all die at the same time.
They just all came here to die? Different times?
Well, I mean, if you see, it's sort of in layers, so maybe some of them died and then they got covered by sand or clay or something, and then something else came along and died, and then it got buried too, just over a really long time. I think, maybe. That's sort of what it looks like to me anyway, but I could be wrong.
I don't know how much this land seems to be cursed. Could be that it displeased some god.
Let's move quickly.
Azaka is kind of, you can see that she's kind of just moved by the sight, though. She says, "This is one of my favorite places in Chult. I don't see it often."
It's very beautiful.
It is.
It is, but we should move before we become one of them.
All right, so you guys, you traveled during, okay, you rested during the day and traveled at night that night. So, you are now during the day and you can travel again if you want. It is a clear day.
Awesome.
Good.
Always make all of the time we can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. Um,
The sooner we get there, the sooner we get dead. I mean, done.
so.
We can die along the way. That's been demonstrated
Yeah.
several times.
Yeah.
I like half the party from what you tell me.
Yeah. So over the course of today, you make your way to about here, and at one point during the day, you guys are paddling along on your canoe, and you notice down in the water next to you, you see two chewinga, one who is floating on its back like this, and the other that's sitting on his belly, holding a twig and using it like an oar next to you guys.
How cute is that?
What if it's like a lift? I get there.
I don't think we want to interfere.
We probably don't want to interfere, but Loquacia cannot help herself. She gives them a small wave and a smile.
Yeah. Azaka says, that is a good indication. It means that there's not any danger in the immediate vicinity.
Oh,
They're adorable.
Yes.
I know they can probably murder us in our sleep, but they're adorable.
They would just run away if they thought that there was anything to fear from us. They do not harm people. It's not their nature.
Oh, good. I'm really glad to hear that.
With the cliffs and them, I think we're in a Mirazaki movie.
Yeah!
Yeah. All right. So you guys traveled during that day. At night, you get another storm. So you're making camp again?
Yep.
yes.
We need to make camp anyway.
Yep. So you guys make camp, sleep through the night. Nothing bothers you. In the morning, the storm continues.
It's rained a lot here, doesn't it?
And Azaka, Artis actually just nods like, yeah. And Azaka just shrugs.
Well, at least our rain catchers are full.
You forage? So forage?
You can forage, or however you like. Some could forage, so others rest, as you like it.
Foraging isn't a bad plan. While we have the opportunity,
Yep.
let's see about it.
Advantage.
Yes, I suppose.
Because I don't
Also
always
murder.
remember to look. Dragon bait smelled like lemon when you were looking up at the cliff faces.
Interesting. 20. For foraging.
13.
17.
All right, hang on. You guys are actually there's not a specific table for this, so I'm improvising a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, so again, you're looking in like heavy rain. So only if your perception was above 15, then roll a percentile.
Yeah.
Okay.
87.
94?
All right.
Wow.
20.
Okay. The 20, you find 3 ounces of manga leaves. These are the non-dried ones.
Okay.
The 94 was one of those, I think?
Yep.
You find it's a mushroom on a rotting tree, and when you show it to Azaka, she says, be careful with that. If it's agitated too much, it releases its spores into a cloud, and the spores are poisonous. It's something that if you were to keep it, I would recommend keeping it in a pouch or something, but they can sometimes be used offensively. You could throw them into a camp or something.
Right.
That was my first one.
It's called a zabu.
And
then-
what did I find? 87.
You found a wild root plant. And so
Oh,
digging it up, you
good.
get a wild root, which basically cures poison.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So,
Or-
you got,
And I got an EVP.
okay. Yeah, you all rolled above 15 with your perception.
Well, I got a 15. Does that
Okay.
count, or does that?
Well, it does, but I'm surprised. Okay, I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm happy to do the foraging. It just like I said, I'm having to make it up. So, you find a strange little fruit, and it is recognized by Loquacia as one of the dancing monkey fruits.
You should only eat that if you want to dance for a while, erratically. It is a dancing monkey fruit, and it will cause your muscles to spasm in ways that make you dance. And
Wait a
it
minute.
only lasts for a minute, but you will feel distinctly odd for a while after. Please do not feed it to anyone that you do not first tell them what it is that you're giving them. It's really...
Is that what Temple Dash ate?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I didn't see Silence before she gave it to him, or I'd have warned him.
Well, at least it wasn't Mad Monkey Fever, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, no, entirely different. This is harmless. It's simply disconcerting. It seems to be considered a prank.
It wasn't a great dancer, so it's very disconcerting.
On the other hand, it does appear to be edible, so I suppose that if we run low on food for some reason, or you're just very, very hungry, it's certainly a nutritious food source.
I would rather like to feed it to that commander back in that camp. At least he would have cracked a smile after he cracked some heads.
Well, I don't think that would have worked quite as well in our favor as the manga leaves did, but it might have proved a distraction. Yes, well, it's harmless, really. I simply have very strong feelings about feeding people things when they don't know the full effect of them, is all.
So, as you guys, forage that day, the night clears up. It's only sort of light rain, but again, like with foraging during the day, having traveled before that. Well, I guess you slept and then it was raining, so you foraged. Yeah. So now it is only light rain overnight.
Okay. I think we can get it out.
All right.
What we can.
You emerge out of the jungle. You're right here now. And so as the sun's rising, you can see in the distance over some grassy areas, Jahaka Bay, and in fact, Artis spies, off to the right, around right here. He sees a ship sail in and go behind the sort of little land promontory here, but a ship goes in that direction.
Well, there's one possibility. Although I do rather like the idea of liberating a crew rather than from a cruel master. If we can find one of those, that would be ideal.
We can't really afford to rent a ship otherwise, I think.
Well, yes, that's true.
I'd hate to see anyone trapped in slavery.
Slavery's a vile institution.
Except inside a university, it's pretty common, really. They call them undergrads.
I think.
So, as you guys are looking down, you realize part of why you can see the bay laid out beneath you is that you're at a higher elevation, and the river actually, there's a couple of waterfalls in this period that you're going to have to carry your canoe and raft around to continue in that day. So it is now daytime, but you have now sort of done 2 shifts.
Yes. Well, we'd better take a break, and then we'll scout more once we've had a rest. Yes.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So
Trying to get around waterfalls in the dark. Bad idea.
yeah,
We might have to wait some more.
yeah. So as you guys spend the day, it's kind of only light rain today. Nothing kind of bothers you. You all get a long rest, and so once it's nightfall, you get actually another torrential storm. So Azaka says, I would advise let's not climb down steep hills and around waterfalls during a torrential storm
Fair
at
enough.
night.
That night.
Free in the dark with the torrential rain.
Yeah.
That's not happening. You're back.
Right. The storm continues into the morning, unfortunately. Yeah. And so it, you get another 12 hours of heavy rain.
I set up a game of Dragon Chess to see if anyone wants to play.
Ah, nice. If someone wants to play, I'll have you make contested intelligence rolls, but Scott gets advantage from having more experience with the game.
I don't know the rules, but I'm curious to find out.
Alright, I'll teach you. Dragon Chess?
Excellent. I'll give it a try.
All right. Have you each make an intelligence check, and then Scott gets advantage. Scott
Tyler?
Kobold.
Tyler. Somebody else was playing first, right? Or am I?
No, I'd say you each do a roll. Oh wait, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I am only seeing little profiles. Who was playing Dragon Chess?
I think it was Erahon had the set.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I misunderstood who was speaking. I thought it was Scott saying. So yes, Arahorn then, and Yoris.
And this is not an ability check, but a
It's an ability check, but just intelligence.
Okay. Jack of all trades is handy.
But having familiarity with the game, then Arahorn gets to roll it with advantage.
Yes. I only had 15 total.
I have a 17.
All right, you win.
Well, that was a great game, though. Thank you, sir.
You're quite an excellent teacher. I may have to remind myself of this game later. This is the time, too.
Recamp. Let me know if you would like to play.
Absolutely. I would take it as an honor.
So, at that night, the rain clears up, but it is still dark. You guys,
Do we want to risk it on the chance that it'll be raining tomorrow, or do you think that we need to wait for a clear daylight to make this descent?
Azaka says, I think if we just go slowly and be cautious, we'll be okay.
All right.
I was going to suggest that I do a circuit and fly and scout a little bit to see what's going on, since the belt gives me dark vision.
Yeah, okay. So perhaps then while they're, and especially since we're not in the depth of the jungle right now, it's a little easier. So you guys, while you're carrying this stuff around, Katsuki goes and flies around over the bay a little bit to kind of look around and try to get a sense of what awaits you there. And so the bay itself has a lot of mist in the bay from the various waterfalls that you're kind of carrying your stuff around. But as you fly around to where you saw that ship going, I'm eating a rice cake and Luna wants some. Let's see if I can. Hey Luna, jump.
Oh, puppy.
You spot in the nook of some caves there that there is definitely there's sort of a little ramshackle port that has been built down in there, but my guess would be that you don't get super close.
No.
All right, but yes, you definitely see that. You in right here, there is there's definitely a lot of activity there. Ships going.
Can
in
I
and out.
can I see about how many ships there are?
Let's see.
Like, is it just like one or two import at a time?
Let me see if it gives specific percentages. There were two, but one of them is sailing away as you're watching.
Okay.
And there's apparently a building that looks like it's made from a ship pulled to ground and turned upside down.
Those are always fun.
All right, so you guys, you move slow and cautiously, but you get your canoes back down around to the base of the waterfalls, and so you're now right here. So it's still perhaps a couple of days going along the coast in your canoes. Alternately, depends on what you guys want to do. If you're trying to approach by stealth, you will definitely be observed if you're coming in on water. So right now, as I mentioned, you are here, and the place you're going is here. How you want to approach is up to you.
Okay. What do you all think?
If we leave the canoe and the raft, they're likely to be found. And that way we'll end up setting off an alarm anyway.
Sure, but if we bring them to the edge of those woods there, we can hide them before we approach by land.
I'd advise stealth, personally.
I'd rather not see that they see us coming, because they probably will shoot at us. Or worse.
I am not the stealthiest individual, but I will do my best.
Well, I'm terrible at it myself.
Stealth? I can do stealth. I do stealth really.
Looking over at NPCs. What do you think?
Artist and Dragon Artist definitely says, if we mean to steal a ship, we should definitely approach with stealth. Dragonbait just kind of nods and smells like wood smoke.
Hopefully that's not a portent.
All right. Alright, so, our object is to find a boat, take out officers, convince the crew to take us where we need to go.
You'll have another day, so like, even if you go by water, it'll take you another day to get to here. And so, for example, if you use that and stay, out of the line of sight, you could perhaps get onto the land here and use that to approach.
Okay, let's do that.
So that would be 2 total travel shifts, so to speak. So you just spent 1 carrying down from the waterfalls.
Right.
So it is now day, and you can continue on if you want. Light rain today.
All right. So what you're saying is that probably they don't have scouts out this far, as long as we.
Well, you guys don't know. It's just
it's
a suggestion. But you do believe that you can't see from here. You can't see any of the structures. So, because this little finger of land is in the way. So if you kind of hug the coast here, you might be out of sight. but you don't know. You're just
Right.
We get a plan to take on the ships at night. Or the ship, I should say. Maybe the rain will be in our favor.
But so are you sailing today to get to here?
Why not?
It would be faster. It's a bit closer.
All right.
Keep an eye out.
I could cast fog cloud if we're taking the water, because that'll obscure their vision more.
So as you're making your way there, I just want to double check. Lee, still hard finish it too?
Yep, still hard finish it too.
So let's say this. While you guys are sort of making camp there, Kathuki goes to kind of fly out and just sort of get another view. And Kathuki, as you fly a little bit too close and suddenly find a harpoon flying out of the sky.
Oh no!
But the belt.
Fall into the water.
Do we see any of that, or does
Nope.
she simply appear?
She just doesn't come back.
Doesn't seem.
That must go with me.
Okay, that decides it. We're going overland.
Alas, Kathuki. But who knows? Maybe she survived this grievous wound and fall into the water. We don't know.
No. We don't know.
Maybe Dante and Falandin survived their plummet off the cliff. Who survived maybe the flash flood previously, but we'll have to just see. I'm just glad that everything seems to be more stable now. So after the crash.
Nice.
All right.
Yep.
So we're almost at 2:00, but let's do this. Let's go ahead and do the travel day overland and get you to the anchorage, and then we'll take our break. Lee is stopping at 2. Is anyone else was stopping at 2? I don't think so, right?
Nope.
All right, and then we have Nobilis joining us. So,
Yay!
So perhaps you will just encounter Agnolo in the jungle. Oh no,
He floats, right?
I know exactly what happens.
Uh-oh.
Excellent.
Yeah,
Someone does.
yeah.
Please tell me it doesn't
Okay.
involve another dead T-Rex.
No.
Uh,
So you guys make your way into the jungle here, and we'll say essentially that you get to here, and you spying stealthily through the jungle see what is clearly an anchorage that is, has got a dock made, some ramshackle buildings, and so you can start to plan your approach. And let me go ahead and give you the map of what you see. Let me put that up. And then we'll take a break, because even though we had sort of a little break earlier with the stream, I do have a little dog who feels like she deserves to go outside, and we'll have a stretch break for everybody.
Good.
Lunch.
I need aspirin.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
and-
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Bye.
Kathuki, you gave them a lot of information before that ill-fated second attempt
Harpoon.
to. Yeah. But again, it's like, who knows? Who can say what might have actually been survived? Burberry and Ibrance seemed pretty squished, and Temple Dash was pretty broken, but
I have very carefully marked their graves, and I cast gentle repose on them. They have a longer period of time when they can be resurrected if we cancel this curse.
Unfortunately, I am not so lucky.
You are
Oh,
not
yeah.
so lucky. I don't know what happened to you. You could be captured.
Man,
I'm trying to free you.
an undead with the belt of dwarven kind.
And a drift
Yeah.
A drift globe
Oh,
of
that's
wings.
true. Yeah, she died and did not return while wearing the belt of dwarven kind.
Oh,
All right.
Okay.
It's a real pleasure to play with you. Thank you.
Yes, I've really
Well, it's a
enjoyed this.
pleasure.
Thank you so much. And I'm glad. I'm sorry I have to cut off now, but I got to play with you guys yesterday, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.
Much fun.
Good luck taking over the pirate ship.
Yay!
See you in Barovia.
Have fun storming the castle.
All right. So, this is what you kind of see in the distance. We are going to keep the stream going, and I'll be inviting Nobilis into the call here in just a second, because I think he said he's ready. But I think right now, like as you can kind of see, let me read the description for you here. What you see from the outside here is the narrow strip of land between the cliff and the water, closed off by a 15-foot high wall made of thick palm logs lashed together with stout vines, bottoms set into the ground, and the whole wall is braced up along the riverside with more palm logs. The wall is looks like it's probably meant to keep out undead and dinosaurs. The gate's roughly made but reinforced with iron bands and backed by 2 heavy wooden bars, and so that's going to make it difficult to. It's not going to be trivial to sneak in there, but we'll see how you approach. So let me bring Nobilis into the call, and when we sort of come back, I will we'll deal with reintroducing his character.
I wonder if we could go overland over one of the plateaus.
Or by water?
No. If we can come up that, go over, trying to hide or be stealthy as we can, and go down into the encampment. Do you think that might be possible? I mean, would that be easier, do you guys think, than trying to break through that wall?
So,
Why break through when you can climb over it?
welcome, Nobilis. I'm bringing you in just as we're going to do our sort of 2 o'clock-ish break, where I'm going to take Luna outside. I'm going to brief when I get back, we'll briefly stop the stream and then start it again, just to kind of keep the videos into chunks. But while I go outside, whoever doesn't need to step away from the computer for a moment, how about you fill Nobilis in on what's been happening? And I'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Let's go back to my notes.
Last time I was playing Agnolo, the grand total of what he did was throw one chromatic orb spell, and that was pretty much it.
To give you an idea, this is that's 12 pages back in my notes. That's on page 6, and I'm up to page 11, but they're double-sided.
Nice.
Let's see.
Why are you taking so much notes? Are you going to write this whole thing up when you're done?
I can't help it. I can't remember a damn thing, so I write everything down.
I
Okay.
appreciate a fellow note taker, although I must say that it's rather nice this game that I am not the one taking the notes.
I will say that probably at least 1/3 of this is me trying to scribble out limericks or couplets. Desperately
okay.
trying to get ready for things, but there are quite a few notes.
I am a fan of this. So let's see. What has been happening? So many things.
I guess the big skeleton, as we traveled through the jungle, went up to visit Mbala, but a very creepy old lady,
Right.
who does say that she can bring people back from the dead, but not living.
Right.
But not undead either.
She did not say that. She said they weren't going to be a zombie.
We kind of got the sense it's not undead, but we're not entirely sure.
She did not. She was really specific. She said she could return someone's faculties to their bodies. They would have full control of their body, and they would have all of their memories and all of their powers, which sounds like a lich to me.
If being a lich was that easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
We did have, actually, just after you guys left, so we had the loss of, what was it, a turtle, an elf, and a, what was it, half elf? And then we immediately received a turtle,
Yes.
a drow, and somebody else joined us that time?
No.
Oh, and the dwarf, yeah, the deep gnome. So it was
Deep
kind of
gnome
this weird
is
switch out, almost exactly. Joined us for a while. The turtle got very friendly with Nanny Poo Poo.
Yeah. I mean, the important thing is how things progressed on the plot.
Yeah, I was trying to get to that. So we went through the jungle, and we managed to actually speak with the guardian of Umbulugu, the giant serpent Naga. And that went well, actually, after trying to figure out how to get up her steps. And she gave us another destination.
Okay.
Another destination of... What was it called? The lost city of... Umu. Or Olmu. I heard there's an L in there, but there isn't one. Somewhere located between the Valley of Lost Honor and the Peaks of Flame, farther south of where we are. So, with two NPCs joining us, Artis, a very somewhat driven human with a special ring, who's seeking his wife because his wife is in a city which vanished to avoid the undead plague, and a non-speaking but very well-smelling dragon bait, sort of lizard guy. We're now heading southward. We head down the River Tath to go and steal a pirate ship so that we can get around the coast a lot faster than trying to go over land. We're hoping that's safer.
Okay.
It also sounded a little bit more fun.
We were heading to this lost city because we were told that probably the secret to the curse lies there. But
Yes.
also, it's inhabited by Yanti, and there's a powerful former red wizard there who has turned himself into a Yanti. And they're attempting to resurrect something, some sort of dark god.
Dendar the Night Spirit.
Yes, who wants to eat the world. So we also want to that not happen.
Trying to avoid that part, yes. So yeah, that's taking us all day.
Okay. Okay.
I think we've made a fair amount of distance in this time.
So the next job is to steal this pirate ship.
Yes.
Kind of the idea. And by the way, we also had a loss of, let's see, Ibrins and Burberry were both killed a few mornings ago when a Triceratops running away from an undead T-Rex stepped on them.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
Because apparently Chooch and Viv couldn't come back this morning, so their characters were eliminated. We lost the Lord Falundin, the Drow, and the other turtle as Terrafolk swooped out of the sky and just threw them off a cliff.
And we just lost Katsuki.
Yes, she was speared by a harpoon.
But we don't know that. She just disappeared.
Well, she just disappeared while scouting. That's bad. So yeah. Blood and gore everywhere.
Yeah.
And you guys all washed away, so we're figuring that your entire... We lost a canoe. I mean, it was terrible.
Yeah.
We made a raft.
We did just make a raft. We feel very accomplished. And we did get blessings from the Guardian of Obalungo.
Okay.
Yes.
Mystical blessings, which will help us.
Let's see. We now have with us, we have a kobold with us.
Okay.
An Eladrin.
Yes, Scott the Kobold from the Scots clan who worship the god dragon Scott.
Okay. Okay.
He really, really wants to ride a dinosaur and name him Scott.
Yes.
Right. Well, of course.
Oh, and we discovered that a zombie T-Rex can spit out other zombies.
Yes.
Oh,
It was
lovely.
terrifying. Yes.
That was exciting. We were kind of like, wait, what now? Why would you do that?
And we also have Al, who is a halfling. Very sneaky halfling. Erevan, who is a wood elf with her panther Quilda. And Arahan, a true elf, who is quite nimble and haughty. Not haughty as in he's sexy. Well, he could be that too, I don't know. But he's even snootier than I am, which is impressive.
Haughty, not hottie.
Yes.
He's not as haughty as the dark elf was.
Something gets lost in translation in Celestial, I guess. I'm trying to explain. All right. I do need to step out for a moment, but I'm sure that Loquacia can fill you in any other details, or you can...
I will not abandon you. I will wait till there are other people and then go get the food.
Okay. I should only be a moment.
Oh, would you mind eating one of the? Probably, actually, just the whole. Just the whole Philly. Yep. The whole Philly situation. I have a fabulous husband. He is the best.
So do I. Ken made salad with chicken for us and gave me some almonds, and I'm set for a while.
That's awesome.
Okay. I forgot my coffee.
Today, I have been through this much tea. I'm going to drink this entire pitcher all by myself. I'm sure people needed to know that. That's why it's open. Unless I'm muted again. No, I'm not muted again. Anyway, what else do you need to know, Nobilis?
I think that's good enough. I mean, you're trying to steal a pirate ship, and you're in order to sail it south to where this lost city is. That seems to cover it as far as I'm concerned.
We're hoping that what we can do is kill the officers, and that the other people who are probably impressed into service will then want to work with us, because we're not sure whether we can sail a ship ourselves.
Right. I was going to ask about that.
We did think of that before we committed to this particular task, and it was suggested that a lot of the non-officer pirates have probably been maybe like taken off of other ships and made to serve. So it might work that way. Or we might attempt to sail ships and hope that wisdom checks are sufficient. We made a raft.
All right.
How much harder can sailing a ship be than making a raft?
That's why we're keeping the crew.
Hopefully, we will keep the crew, and that they will. Hopefully, the crew will be enthusiastic about helping us rather than.
I'm sure I can convince them with wit and humor.
Okay.
If you want to grab something.
I am.
It's a plan, at least.
What's the plan?
Well,
We're
take a
talking
ship.
about the ship.
If you wanted to grab some food, now might be a good time.
Already did it.
Rosemary, I think you were thinking of it as well.
My husband is being amazing and bringing me food.
Well, I should get one of those.
Right? I highly recommend them.
Yeah, they're very useful to have around.
You want a good one though, like
The store is.
Yeah, my first one wasn't so great.
Right? you kind of like maybe you screw up the first time and then you figure it out later. But although I think I am
dumb, so
Christiana put a note in the chat. She's listening while she takes Luna on her walk. So, Dungeon Master always hears
everything.
I suppose I could read some of the poems I didn't use.
Hello, Beth.
Hey. Let's see.
I has food.
Food is good.
Oh, nice.
Leftovers. Very delicious. We live above restaurants. So
nice.
There's always that temptation there.
Color me jealous.
It's pretty great in a lot of ways. Oh yes, it smells like meat, doesn't it, Cat? Meat. You cannot have any. No, you cannot.
Cat's choices. Maybe we can negotiate.
I have to keep my dog closed out of my office, otherwise he'll be climbing all over me with this.
So I have a few of these unused limericks. I'm kind of glad to get low initiative. It gives me time to compose.
Right.
But when we were fighting the snakes and Temple Dash had gone down like, very quickly, I had this one on hand to do again one of the psychic errors or psychic whammies. We look upon our temple dashed, you slathering creature, unabashed, but you will be next, and you'll be permanently affixed around a waist as a belt, or a what's the other one? Bat? Lash. Oh. Snakes. Why does it have to be snakes? On riverbeds, at seaside and lakes. You lay there and waiting, but soon you'll be late-ing with all of us eating snake steaks.
Nice.
I literally have pages of these.
Nobilis, when we had to go up the we had to puzzle our way up these temple steps, and we had to keep going up and down. We had to get a flower and bring it up, and then we had to go back down and get a feather and carry both the feather and the flower, and we finally got to another place with snakes. It was entirely covered in snakes, but the trick was that we had to bash them on the head with the flower, tickle the belly with the feather, then lie down on the ground and let them slither into our mouths.
Oh dear!
Slide up the stairs on our bellies.
Never again.
Scott was so disappointed he didn't get to keep it because it was a delicious lunch.
You may be brave while you've got your stinger, but you'd best fly away and do not linger, because while you've one thing, that ridiculous sting, I have all 10 of my fingers. That was against the bees, or wasps.
Nice. I like it.
Buzz off, buzz away, bugs. You've nothing but insectile thugs. With no will of your own, no skills to hone, you fall prone to dismissals of Uggs. So many unused. My bad poet coming back. It's just fun.
Here you go, Nudge. Yeah, it's not bad enough that my dog begs, but my pet rat was begging too.
All right,
I just decided to sleep on my lap instead.
This is impolite, but I'm discovering that I actually need something to eat too. So I'm gonna run dash.
All this talk of food is kind of making me hungry. I'm kind of thinking maybe
Break.
this will be our supper break, maybe.
Yeah, that probably won't be till 6. So yeah, there's time to get food. Go get food.
I will go get food. I will return.
Good luck.
You go forth and forward.
Hungry?
Oh my god. I think.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
All right. We have a puppy who is relieved and ready to hop back into this thing. Although, let me go ahead and recycle the stream
Okay.
right now.
Lost 2 players to food.
Yeah, so that's fine. We'll get back started again, but for now, I'm gonna. Anyone watching the stream, I'm briefly gonna stop it and then start it up right again as ASAP.